Jeremy Fowler, ESPN. We love Jeremy on the show. He joins the Morning Roast with Joe Shasky, the Butcher, and Bonta Hill. And Jeremy Fowler made some noise last Friday. Made some noise. I think Niner fans will love this. On Get Up this past Friday, Jeremy Fowler picked the Niners to win the NFC. Not just the NFC West.
Wow.
But he picked the Niners to represent the NFC at the Super Bowl, even though Trey Lance is entering his first season as a full-fledged starter for the 49ers. So, Jeremy, good morning. How are you doing? You made some waves here with that proclamation. Why? What's the number one thing on why you're picking the Niners to win the NFC?
To let you in on a little TV secret, so we had, I believe, three panelists, three people involved in the discussion. At least two people were picking the Bucs. If I had to pick one team, it would be the Bucs to challenge. The question is who's going to challenge the Rams, and I think the Bucs have the best roster, but the Niners are very close behind. And so to break it up and to create more discussion, that we're not all picking Tampa, I went with San Francisco.
So
but
you don't really believe it then.
Well, they're in my top. I got my top three for the NFC right now are Rams, in no particular order, really. Rams, Bucs, 49ers. I just think if you look at the Rams model, they have star players, right? They win with 5 or 6, cornerstone top guys. And the 49ers have that. They have 5 legitimate superstars, which you don't have very often. And you can build around that. And then really Kyle Shanahan, every offense he's been in, from Jimmy Garoppolo to Brian Hoyer at quarterback to Matt Schaub, Matt Ryan, they've all done well, all of them. So I'm betting on that with Trey Lance.
Interesting. So, I look at this, and I feel like everybody rightfully is giving the Rams the upper edge. I mean, the Rams got bodied by the Niners 7 times in a row, and then the Niners beat them in Week 18 in their house with an opportunity to take the number 1 spot, the Rams did, and then they ended up backing in. The Niners go toe-to-toe with them. They just needed a couple of plays from the quarterback. Do you think Trey Lance can make those extra couple of plays to actually knock out the Rams?
Well, he has the dual threat ability to do so. That's why you drafted him, because the upside's higher. He's got a little more splash playability than Jimmy Garoppolo, who's obviously steady for them, who won a lot of games, big time game guy. Aaron Rodgers couldn't beat him, but there are limitations there. Where Trey kind of removes those limitations and gives you more options. I think that's all. Now you're going to have some growing pains with that, no doubt. I don't think there's any doubt he's going to have some rough games as a rookie, as a de facto rookie, right? First-time starter,
right,
full-time in San Francisco. But, and I've heard he's had a killer last month of workouts. It's just off-season stuff. But
no arm fatigue?
No. I mean, there was something there, but it was more like, I don't know, it's a non-issue now, for sure.
Wait, what was the issue? Now I got to know. What, he's 21. What did you hear about the arm? Because we laugh at it.
Yeah, it's nothing. I heard it was nothing structural. It's just more like a little bit of muscle fatigue because he really threw a bunch for a year, and then you're going from draft prep to a new team and throwing in their practice, and then your mechanics get a little off because you're in different spots.
Gotcha.
So he rested a little bit after the season. I know that, but since then, they've cleaned that up. I mean, I've honestly heard, especially this summer when he's been working out, I was told if he looks like this in camp, what he's looking right now, then people are going to forget real quickly about Jimmy Garoppolo.
Wednesday!
Yes, sir. Wednesday. Jeremy Fowler, ESPN.
I'll be there.
On the Morning Roast. Yeah, I know. You let everybody in the world know. How many times you're going to let over-under on Shasky, letting everybody know he's going to be there. I'm kidding. I know you're excited. I'm excited too. I'm going to Europe, Fowler, so I'm gonna be gone for 2.5 weeks. But
it's a rough
you know
life
what? You know what? I'll be back for preseason game number 1. Speaking of Jimmy Garoppolo, because I'm waiting to forget about Jimmy Garoppolo. I've talked ad nauseum about Jimmy Garoppolo all offseason. I'm kind of sick of it here. What ends up happening with Jimmy Garoppolo? What have you heard? What's the latest on him?
Well, this is, there's not real hard progress on an imminent trade right now, but, Jimmy Garoppolo's agents are talking to prospective teams, and he's getting closer to being cleared. So this one's fascinating to me because the more I talk to some people around the league about this, the mechanics of it are important to note because you have a guy who has $24 million on the books. Most of that is not guaranteed. The only thing that's guaranteed is a $7 million injury guarantee. So if there's no trade in the next, say, week, right, then the 49ers can theoretically, get him through a physical and say, oh, he's passed, and then just try to cut him so they don't owe him that money. Where, Garoppolo might say, not so fast. Like, there could be some issues or hang-ups over that $7 million. Now, because if he's, suddenly cut on August 10th and they couldn't get a trade partner, then free agency is not looking great for Jimmy Garoppolo at that point. So he might value that $7 million. So there's like some back and forth there. It's important to remember. You could get into like NFL player union grievances at that point. I don't think it's going to get to that, especially if they can just find a trade partner and something suitable. But the list of suitors is not big. Carolina, I really do think they would have done the deal if he was healthy 2 months earlier. Like it was either him or Baker Mayfield, and I just don't know if they could wait out Garoppolo in this case because they wanted somebody ready to go for camp. So it's just complicated. Like Seattle's talked about it internally, but I don't know that they would make a trade. I think if he's released, they would try to sign him. So I don't know. It's a really complicated situation.
Well, what about Deebo Samuel? What do you think the likelihood is that he inks a deal here in the coming days?
Well, fairly good. I would say fairly good. Not a slam dunk. I mean, I think you got to see what's happening here is you have agent Tory Dandy represents Deebo Samuel and DK Metcalf. He wants to do that 1 and 2, right? Why wouldn't you? You want to get both deals done.
Right.
And so the stage is sort of set for Deebo to go first. Now, we'll see if the 49ers can get that to the finish line. Well, we'll apply some pressure if Deebo Samuel holds in, right? If he shows up and then says, I'm not taking the practice field, which I would expect. Like, I'd be surprised if he didn't do that based on just asking around. And I just, why would you do that? So that creates a little bit of urgency. And I don't know. I know John Lynch has been engaged in it. Like, he's had interest in doing a deal. So that's it's been positive from that standpoint. I know that.
Let me ask you this, Jeremy, as we're speaking with Jeremy Fowler, ESPN. The biggest roadblock for the 49ers in winning the NFC, take Trey Lance away because we know there could be struggles there at the quarterback spot. It's his first full year starting. But other than Trey Lance, what is something that could hold the Niners back from really winning the NFC this year? Heck, even in the division title and overcoming the Rams?
Well, I look at their interior offensive line. It's pretty thin. I mean, only one guy has more than a handful of starts there. You lose Alex Mack. I just think that's a spot that's one to watch. Now, you're betting on the Shanahan system to create some star players, out of nowhere. It's a system that's favorable to if you have a smart, good player up front. He doesn't necessarily have to be overly athletic. He just has to be able to run the system well and be a smart player. So I'm sure they have some of those guys. But there's just not a lot of proven commodity there with Alex Mack leaving and Laken Tomlinson leaving. So that's the area I would point to. They address cornerbacks, so that's good. I mean, they need to address that really for a few years now. So, I feel pretty good about where the defense is at. Assuming Javon Kinlaw can kind of come into his own, which they need. But, I would say interior line.
Okay. What about the Nick Bosa contract extension that we've been hearing about? Myles Garrett, $25 million a year, approximately. Max Crosby, $23.5 million. Leonard Williams, $21 million. Those are the top three guys at the DN spot. Do you think he goes north of 30?
Yes, absolutely. And that's why this could take some time. The 49ers basically have to decide, are we comfortable paying him now, or do we need to see it another year because he had been hurt in year 2?
Right.
I don't know the answer to that. I think they know they have a proven, top 3 pass rusher. I don't think there's any doubt he's the 3rd best pass rusher in the NFL.
Wow.
Who are the first two?
T.J. Watt and who else?
T.J. Watt and Myles Garrett.
Myles Garrett.
Yeah, Myles Garrett. Yeah, that's a good call.
Close is close, man. He's number 3. Like, he is the 3rd best. Like, there's zero question about it. So, if you got a guy like that, pass rusher, premium position, like he's got to be taken care of. So they just, I don't know. Now, Joey Bosa, his brother, played out the 4th year of his contract and then did
his brother held out twice, correct? Once as a rookie and then once before he got that massive extension?
Well, they did it going into his 5th year. They did it as he was showing up to training camp.
Got it.
It wasn't really a true holdout. I think he was prepared to hold out, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe Nick follows. There's precedent there in the family, right? So maybe
Yeah.
he's willing to play that 4th year.
Yeah.
Aaron Donald had to wait his 4th year through his deal. Now, he did hold out. So, but it's a little different for that position on the rookie deal, defensive tackle, defensive line, pass rush. It has taken a little more time for some of those guys. So we'll see. It depends on the 49ers' preference, really.
No doubt, no doubt. Jeremy Fowler, ESPN, on the Morning Roast on 95.7 The Game. We appreciate the time, and we hope your proclamation, even though the question was different than what we were told, we hope the Niners do win the NFC. That's for sure.
No doubt. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Time. Jeremy Fowler, ESPN, on the Morning Roast. And I want to get